Shiro's humming to himself. Humming to myself, I make my way towards the park. My early afternoon patrol failed to turn up anything, but I can't say I'm dissatisfied with that. With weather as good as this, I can't help but be in a pleasant mood. It's such a nice day that people are lounging about instead of hurrying to wherever they're going. Could be considered a little slice of happiness. Oh yeah, slice of life. I mean, that's like a lot of this game, you know, basically. However, cheaply bought. A day like this is best spent in leisure, basking in one's good fortune and the company of strangers. Yeah, in the embrace of such gentle afternoon. Not anything could disturb me, not even if a duo like these two should come along, for example. For those two? God save me if these two should show up, though. Nanny. Hang on, what was that just now? Wasn't that the weird scarf thing of the Holy Shroud of Magadalia or whatever? As I tremble beside my terribly accurate amateur prophecy, I feel something coil around my leg. Why is she attacking us? I fervently cross myself, pleading for salvation from imminent reality. In an instant, Emiya Shirou is reeled in like a common fish, while the general public goes about its own business. Oh no. Okay. I'm unceremoniously dragged across the tiled ground. As the catch, aka my body, rose to a stop, the red cloth disappears without a trace, aka evidence destroyed. And the prime suspect saunters up as if everything were perfectly normal. Yet why do I feel like the huntress is about to skin her prey? Ah yes, what a coincidence. Why is she here? Are we going on a date? I don't know. I brush the dust off my body as I stand up. Of course, I give her my meanest evil eye. My glare does its best to convey, what the hell was that? You better have a damn good reason for doing that for a beatdown. Her composure is ironclad. My glare is too low level to even deal a single hit point of damage. It's like Lear. It's like leering in Pokemon, you know, it's just defense down, but it's like otherwise there's no damage, what's the point? That is, there's no problem since she got exactly what she wanted. She would only ever admit to a personal failure. Meaning that she probably sees nothing wrong with premeditated assault and kidnapping. It was? We did? At that I tilt my head in confusion. Okay. I don't remember saying that, but the way she puts it makes it sound like I'm just reaping what I sow, or so. That's a shame. She has the right of things for once. But I wish she would take a lesson from this moment and apply that common sense to her future decisions. Is she a vampire? Is she gonna, like, you know, burn from the sunlight?
何事も例外はありますから、無理をすれば少しだけ街に出ることができます。
Though, well, actually, that could happen. Like, for example, if like an actual, like, I don't know, demon vampire possessed someone, and then she would, like, you know, suffer the same consequences as a vampire in daylight. Even though that's very unlikely, it could actually happen in the Fate universe.
そっか。じゃあ、頑張ればうちに遊びに来ることもできる？
それはやはり厳しいようです。それに彼女たちの誰とも私は相性が悪いですから。
Okay, she doesn't want to interact with any of the other waifus?
そうなの？
Why not?
そうは見えないけどな。
Honestly, I think she's kind of like Tohsaka. Though I don't have a real explanation for that opinion. Like tsundere? I don't know. She doesn't come across as tsundere to me, but sometimes, I guess. You know, sometimes she's like stubborn about certain things and puffs out her cheeks, I think, at one point.
まあ、気が向いたら顔を出してくれ。お茶でよければ歓迎するから。で、手段はとんでもなかったけど、呼び止めたってことは話があるんだよな。一体何の話なんだ、カレン。
Did that part surprise her?
どうした？やっぱり教会の外だと具合が悪くなるのか？
いえ、そういうわけではないのですが、あなたがいつもより紳士的なので勝手が違うだけです。
Yeah, again, like Shirou sometimes when, especially when he's talking to her at the church, he's like very like rude. But now he's like acting normal again. It's weird. I'm pretty sure we haven't spoken enough for her to say that. Well, maybe. I've heard her performance many times.
悪い。こうして話すのって初めてだったっけ？
ええ、この場所でこうして話すのは初めてです。お互い名前を知っているのですから、何度かお会いしているのでしょう。どうぞ、私の体のことは気になさらず結構です。
そっか。体は何ともないのか。それじゃあ、俺を呼び止めた要件だけど。
要件というほどのことでもありません。話すべきこともありませんから、見かけても通り過ぎるべきだったのですが、あなたが幸福そうだったので、つい。
What was that? I just felt a seriously cold chill run down my spine.
幸福そうだったから、つい。
How did that make her feel?
つい刺激心が刺激されてしまいました。
Your sadistic heart.
さしたる理由もなく、目に見えて幸福そうでしたので、現状を知らせてあげたくなったのです。
Maybe she is more like Kirei than I thought.
人生とは楽なものではなく、常に苦しみ、もだえ、自虐に押しつぶされるもの。その見せかけの幸福は、私の一息でたやすく消し去ってしまうものだ。
So I guess she's just into S&M.
それは俺が気に食わないってことだろうか。
いいえ、あなたが憎いわけではありません。私はただ幸福そうな人を見ると皮を剥がしてみたくなるのです。
Is she joking? I don't know. I don't know if she's joking, but this is new, I guess. She wants to murder happy people. Or not murder, but like torture, I guess. She wants to torture happy people. Is this normal?
そうですね。以前から兆候はあったのですが、この町に来てから本格化したような。もしかすると、これは私の趣味なのでしょうか。
Oh no, she's becoming the new Kirei. Even listening to this is disturbing. It's confusing to hear, but her intentions seem perfectly clear to me.
なるほど。最悪だな。
同感です。全く誰に似たのだか。
Yorokobe? Yorokobe. We nod in unison. It's a kind of sympathy as we've just discovered we have a common enemy.
なのだが、できれば俺のささやかな幸せは見逃してほしい。せめて短い余暇の間ぐらいこのまま心穏やかに過ごさせてくれないだろうか。
そう言われては無理強いはできません。見たところすぐに冷めてしまいそうなものですし、私が水をかけるまでもないでしょう。
Karen abruptly turns away with displeasure. How should I put it? She looks like a child that's had her favorite toy taken away.
と、一つ聞き忘れていました。この辺りで怪しい二人組を見かけませんでしたか？大きいのと小さいの。目につく風貌なので詳しい特徴は言うまでもないのですが。
A suspicious pair. One of them is large, the other small. I mean, the first thing that comes to mind is Ilya and Berserker, maybe? I don't know why they would be here, though.
怪しい二人組？いや、見かけてないけど。
そうですか。この辺りだと感じたのですが、移動したのかもしれません。
Maybe not that large? I don't know.
私の目から逃れようなんて浅ましい使い魔たち。
Wretched familiars. The nun lets out an oddly warm chuckle. Sister, if there's anyone suspicious around, it's you.
さようなら、エミヤシロ。まだ縁があるのなら、教会で会いましょう。
I watch her leave, her footsteps fading into the distance. The girl, robed in her religious habit, left the park behind, not as a phantom, but as a real human being. You know, my first impressions of Karen, that she seems, she has a traumatic past, sort of, but otherwise seems perfectly fine, Otherwise, but now she has a sadistic streak? I don't know about this. Hopefully she doesn't, try to destroy the world, like another certain priest. Again. Why does this weird holy church, why does it make everyone turn evil? I don't know. Anyway. Okay, nothing here. Nothing there. Yeah, it seems we just don't have any other scenes. Just don't unlock another scenes. Not a lot of scenes left, I imagine. We can go here again. And we can do the, well, I guess it's only the trivia left, right? Yeah, there's no other, extra scenes with at night, nor the castle. So all that's left is just these, weird quizzes. Well, okay, we'll try the hard quiz. I don't know, I'll probably go back and do the quizzes properly. I don't remember, what the answers are, though. Well, whatever. I'll just do the most hard one, I imagine. Show me your best. I imagine, show me your best is, the hardest one.
あ、本当？偉いぞ。目上の人を立てることを知ってるのね。お姉ちゃん、嬉しいな。けど、敵に聞きクイズを預けるな。
Okay.
この未熟者め、そんなんでこのクイズ鬼を超えられると思ったか。お前のような軟弱者には最上級クイズを叩き込んでやる。ふふふ。全問正解の暁には私の素敵な壁紙ゲットだぜ。
Oh, okay, that's what you get? Get a wallpaper again? Okay, which one of Saber's attributes is less than A? Oh. Master Tohsaka Rin, okay. Oh, well, I guess maybe her stats change, especially in Unlimited Blade Works, I know she does, transfer masters. I mean, what's less than A? Agility? Well, not luck. I know she has high luck. Saber has high luck, so I have strength for agility. Maybe strength, I'm thinking? That's probably wrong. Maybe agility. But she's really fast though. It's hard. I don't know which one it is. I'm gonna say strength. Probably wrong. Yeah, it's wrong. That can't get a perfect score. What's the name of the river that runs through Fuyuki City? It's is it Mion River? Okay, that's it. I recognize that. When did Fate go on sale? Oh, well, wow, that's a hard one. I don't really remember. Eeny, meeny, miny, mo, catch a tiger by the toe. Let's say November. No, that's wrong. Holy Grail in the original Fate story is the wow. Let's say 726. Okay, that's correct. Because there are other Holy Grails mentioned by Kirei actually in the very beginning of the Fate Stay Night. That may or may not have been real Holy Grails, but you know they searched for it nevertheless. What do you think was Macadero's ancestor's occupation? Really, Macadero's? They were pirates, right? They made a joke, you know, how she was like a pirate, right, I think? Yeah. Don't know if that's true or not, but I don't know. Alright, so we lose anyway. We lost one question. Or was it? Oh, no, it was two, I think. Yeah, 2 questions were wrong. Anyway. I think it's the same either way, yeah. I'm glad to go to sleep. Okay. So, it's just the little, like, trivia quizzes that we still haven't done, really. But let's go time loop again. Ooh. Oh, wait, there's more. Nani? Angramayu? Okay. Probably like doing that scene with Karen now unlocks another scene here. Let's see. Is there a way to see the flag list? Yeah, we unlock a lot of flags. Look at this. Look at these flags. Invisible arm? What does that mean? I don't know. Turn the key that starts it off. I mean, we did that already. And opened. I mean, yeah, mostly like... I imagine in order to progress, we just need to like, you know, hang out with Karen, basically. Get all the other flags, but anyway. The first year was spent deciding who to hate. Yeah, I imagine, yeah, this is like Angry like whole backstory, like, I imagine. For a long time, he'd been living in happiness. He was born in a plain, not so wealthy family. He had parents that were normal and a sister much younger than him. He woke up early in the morning, helping his father in the forest, carrying back the yield of the day to the village. That world of his was simple. His everyday life didn't change. That work had gone on for decades. His father and his father's father probably entered the forest and lived under the grace of the mountain the same way. Just like his father and grandfather, he was also going to live a dull and boring life. There was the restlessness of youth, but he knew that would leave him as soon as the years passed by. Okay. A roof to sleep under, enough food not to starve, and the warmth of his neighbors. That was all he could ever ask for. But why? Why did it have to turn out like that? Villagers were at least entitled to this dull life. It had been a rich village, but it brimmed with the rightness of being able to live normally and die quietly. The other villagers weren't any different from him. The other villagers thought of him as one of them. This vexes him even now. Nothing has suddenly gone wrong. There was no mistake anywhere. The choice that was made had been undeniably the will of humanity, including himself. That's why it still vexes him even now. Had it at least been the will of heaven, he could have cursed God's cruelty and been done with it. Filthy demon. It came without any warning, as naturally as saying good morning to another. First, the eyes. Leaving the house, he went towards the woods like always. He said hello to a passing neighbor, but was ignored. The disaster took place in the middle of the village. Villagers he had never met surrounded him, and he would never return there again. Hey, leave the left eye. The ceremony was performed calmly. Apparently he had been the devil himself. This fact, unknown even to him until now, left the people in grief and disgust. Finally, their anger rose up, and his fate was decided. Damn noisy he is. We should take care of the throat. There were more doubt than fear within him. Why? Why do this? Why did this happen? Why did it have to be him, of all people? After all, no matter how hard he thought about it, there wasn't a trace of pretext to be found. And on top of that, how? Yeah, as long as he can breathe, I guess. How could they do such a thing? Cut the tendons and arms and legs. Only the tendons, mind you. His body belongs to everyone in the village. You must leave enough for everyone. Several men took care of the ceremony. Cursed by almost everyone he knew, his arms and legs lost their function even while retaining their shape. "This is your punishment for not endowing our lives with abundance," they said, and they meted out appropriate punishment to every part of his body. "Cut his tongue off too, as we give him the satisfaction of leaving him die." Insulted by many of those he knew, he was covered in filth. "This is what you get for threatening our lives," they said, and every part of his body rewarded their discontent. "Serves you right, you damn demon." That was the end of him as an individual human. His emotions were destroyed by the pain of losing his body. His rational mind was destroyed from the sorrow of losing his dignity. This is the story of Angry, putting all the evils of humanity in one person, and he symbolizes that evil, I guess, and so everyone is like angry at him just for being that symbol, for no reason, even though he didn't choose to be that symbol, I guess. And so, he had been kneeling for who knows how long. Now a single moan escaped him. The branch piercing through his throat had started to rot. His tongue had been ripped out long ago. His vocal organs had become inflamed after a night of screaming. Why? Naze? People that knew him, people that didn't know him, he was abused by everyone alike. The administrating of justice needs no reason. They, with their righteous angers and morals, hated a demon confined atop the mountain without an ounce of shame. "The likes of you should not live," they laughed. Yet they would not even do him the kindness of killing him. Now again, kind of reminds me of a lot of this. I feel like this is a bit of a trope, but it's like burning the witch, whatever, blaming the witch for all the troubles of whatever's going on in like a isolated village or whatever. Probably happened in real life actually, but it's kind of like, for example, if the crops are not like growing properly, it's kind of like we blame it on this person who's definitely a witch, and everyone believes them. And then the witch gets burned at the stake, whatever, and therefore they rejoice. Yorokobe, we killed the witch, and therefore good things will happen now. Probably not though, but that's what people believe, I guess. Superstition and whatnot. Hatred begets more hatred. Going beyond terror and confusion, hatred was eventually born within him. But who must this hatred be directed at? Why? 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 He thought and spoke this question too many times to count. Even as one of his eyes were crushed, and as his fingers were cut off by some scissor-like tool, the words he managed to squeeze out of his throat were, "Why me?" None of the villagers would tell him. "Please stop. Please send me back. Please save me." He did not put voice to those wishes already given up hope on. He accepted it until the last of his fingers and toes, and the big toe on his left foot was cut off by the person who had once been his father. He had only a single wish left. Why me? That question alone was his final request, but nobody would tell him. The moment he realized the answer, he became a real demon. There was no reason as to why he was a demon. There was no reason for him to be chosen as a sacrifice. To begin with, the village elders, the people in power, never even knew him. Anyone would have been fine. It was not that he was hated because of his sins, neither was he isolated because of his good deeds. As a completely dull and ordinary person, he was chosen. Yep. Completely by chance. He's just a scapegoat, That's the idea. Just for the sake of a one-day luxury, people he never met ended the life of a human that they never knew. That's all there is to it. Merely to fulfill the desires of a single night, his life, fostered well for decades, was trampled upon and crushed. This world is governed by things that are not people. The moment he realized that, he decided upon the target of his hatred. All the evil in the world, Angry Mayu. The revered effigy thus became a genuine demon. An egg that would never hatch. An anti-hero of this small world that was rid of all its sins. He had no limbs to struggle in pain. His limbs were completely severed. Only his heart was still alive. No arms, no legs, no dignity left. He had no functions as a human, but his sense of pain alone had yet to fail him. He took on a countless amount of hatred, while bringing forth hatred just as infinite. His collapsed personality gained order in its own broken way. He was stone. Never going outside the stone prison, his body wasn't allowed to move at all. Look at his eye. His eyelid of his remaining left eye was fixed, not allowing it to close. His dry, cackled eyeball continued to stare at the outside world. It was just like a stone statue that was conscious. Without taking a single step, he watched the unchanging scenery for a month, a year, decades. He could neither avert nor close his eye. The treatment that would make him forget the fact that he was still alive before the tedium sick in his mind would, in fact, continue until his death. What frightened him, however, was the fact that this torture, difficult to bear for even a single day, would last for his entire lifetime. A healthy person's sanity would surely fall apart in no more than 7 days. What allowed him to endure it, what preserved his soul, was the fact that his sanity had already been broken. Unchanging scenery wouldn't break him. That which spread beneath his eye was his hometown, the people that called him a demon as they turned him into a real one, the village that the hatred came from. He had an unbroken view of it all. A repulsive mass of goodwill, prospering by sacrificing the weak. He will continue to hate as long as he lives. This absurdity, the hidden repulsiveness of mankind, the overly tolerant world that approved of it. All that's left in this stone prison is the hatred that has been scorched in it. Or rather, the hatred that has been scorched in. Neither the personality nor the body that was once belonged to him are in here. The soul in his physical body was annihilated long ago. It's already become something else. Only the hatred born within him continues to smolder within his body, even to this day. Okay. Well, who knows how many years passed like that? To him, having lost his sense of time, the world continued its dizzying transformation even as it stagnated. The ties he had from back when he was human were no exception. The people that chose him, the people that took away his legs and arms, the people that were his blood relatives, the people that hated him, the people that he loved. Their hatred did not last as long as that held by the human they sacrificed. Those who stole everything from him disappeared from this world before he did. Like shooting stars, the strong, merciless flicker of the ever-coming days burned into his eyeball. For a long time, he was left in that sunny spot. He saw so many lives, the result of too many meaningless lives, consuming time and space, burning up their own lives recklessly, bearing children, amassing riches, yet ending without a trace. Hollow as they may have been, yes, hollow Ataraxia, hollow, they were not void. Although they ended, it wasn't as though they did not continue. The wheel of time keeps turning. Lies wither, then bloom again. The cycle of prosperity and decay. The scenery before him kept on spinning. There are times of destruction, overrun by believers of a different faith. There are times of expansion, taking in fresh blood. Throughout it all, he continued to stare with hatred. Hatred was the only means by which he could connect to it. There's an evil atop this mountain, breathing malice into all of us. That became a teaching passed down the village since old times. As long as there was hatred, as long as he was hated, he would not die. The new villagers hated, worshipped, and thanked him as their everyday enemy. The young man who had become the demon didn't even exist there anymore. Hatred that gave birth to nothing. A blank space that existed to help life advance smoothly, day after day. An open home in their everyday life, a dumping ground that received all of their overflowing emotions. What a convenient, false void that could never become anything. Okay, a reference to that sliding puzzle? I don't know. I mean, maybe the analogy is that the fact that he will always be that hollow void, just like a sliding puzzle, you know? It can never be filled or something? I don't know. Well, that village too disappeared in a flash. Neither decaying nor prospering. Times changed, people changed, and the mountain village, having fulfilled its role, went back to being open field. Okay, and I guess, and he's still stuck on that mountain to this day, maybe, I don't know. Well, probably not. Eventually, I guess, you know, got recorded into the Throne of Heroes somehow? I don't know. No. Well, everything he had hated disappeared without a trace. His name and body had been lost, and he had even lost sight of his soul. And in the end, even hatred left him behind. And yet, he is still connected to this place. Many years passed. People perished. The village perished, but even after his own body died, he cannot move from here. Okay? He's like a spooky ghost now. The hatred burned in this place is unchanging and undying. As long as the world of humans continues on, it will exist forever. In this empty wasteland. Forever gazing at the end of the world. Okay, that's his story. What? Well, Rin? And like that, I finally opened my eyes. Oh. And we're Bazett again. Okay, and then that was right after she ran away from Rin, maybe. I don't know, something about her arm. And then she like panicked and ran away. Oh, he's surprised as well. I jumped to my feet off the couch. My head throbs painfully. The chaos doesn't stop, and the room that I should already be used to appears as though a battlefield in the middle of a bombing. Standing up, I run while swinging my right arm. I move my arm as recklessly as a person on fire, and head to a corner of the room while shaking off my delusions. And in the corner, there's my servant, sitting down like always. I have neither the composure nor affection to answer him. I push him aside, having no clue what I'm trying to do myself, and stand in front of the mirror. Okay. Seems normal. I was like thinking maybe our arm was like, gone or something, but it looks fine. The figure looking back at me is exactly the same as it was back when I stood here for the first time. There are no irregular. Oh, I can't say that word. There are no irregularities. That's the word. Irregularities. There's nothing wrong with me whatsoever. But if I remember correctly, when I first saw this mirror, I felt uneasy. What happened to that arm of yours? That's what Rin said. Hidarite. I feel dizzy. Something that was locked away comes pouring out. That's right. I noticed it at that time. There's something extra on me, or rather extra on me reflected in the mirror, and something that should be there is missing. What made that uneasiness so vague? Was it not the servant that's now laughing behind me? I keep staring at the reflection in the mirror. My distorted mind, unable to bear the concentration, sends me into another bout of vertigo. And there within my vision flashing on and off. Oh, and no, there it is. See, that's the missing arm right there. I see a terrible image. I wonder, well, when do we lose that arm? Is it like a consequence of like, going back in time so much or whatever? I don't know. Because otherwise, how do we even fight? We have to like punch, right? Unless we only use our one arm. My ragged breathing starts to come down. I touch my left arm with my right hand. It's only an illusion. The left arm is certainly there, or is it? I don't know. But so is a lingering feeling of discomfort that I can't seem to erase. Is it like a phantom pain? Why are we here? Just to suffer? A voice from behind me. My mind, having just settled down, picks up speed once again. I turn around. Opening my eyes, I look firmly at him. Oh, there he is. Everything... Before he was like a silhouette, but now there he is. That's his entirety. The boy laughs like a clown. He looks like Shirou. That face, perhaps it might be familiar to someone other than me. Except like with the tattoos and... Yeah, I mean, he's pretty much like Shirou, except, he has tattoos, he has, obviously the arm bandages and a weird cloth thing, and his black hair, well, his tan, like a lot of things are different, but otherwise... Well, he looks a little bit like Shirou, I guess. He knows. This servant knew everything from the beginning. I realized that long ago, yet I still...
あのお嬢さんの話は本当だぜ。あんたが派遣された聖杯戦争はもう半年も前に終わっている。
Okay, so it was Bazett that was like, you know, delusional about that sort of thing. And that's why I guess we didn't know about that because we didn't go during daytime somehow for some reason. But ever since we did, we know the truth somewhat. I still wanted to trust his servant.
この聖杯戦争を起こしているのは
俺たち以外に誰がいる？いや、大体聡明なあんたのことだ。そんなのはすぐに気づいたはずだ。なのに自分をごまかして記憶さえ閉じ込めて一生懸命おままごとを続けやがった。しかしまあそれもこれですっきりだ。もういいだろうマスター。この茶番はさ、聖杯戦争を続けたいあんたが引退した連中を引き戻して遊んでいるだけってわけだ。
Okay, so the culprit was Bazett, I guess? I don't know how that works, but alright. Wicked laughter. He's getting on my nerves. He's getting on my nerves. He's getting on my nerves. Getting on my nerves. Hatred.
私を騙していたのかアベンジャー。
人聞きの悪い。単にあんたが聞かなかっただけだろう。5回目の聖杯戦争がどうなったのかを聞いてくれれば、あんたがどうやって殺されたか教えてやったのに。
Lally told you how you... What? Nani? I think he said something like kurusu? I don't know how you say it. I don't know, anyway. It's funny, he said, oh, you just never asked, you know? Never asked. You just never asked. Lol. It hurts. My chaos-filled head hurts. My eyeballs that glared at him hurt. My disordered breathing hurts. And above all, a throbbing pain in my left arm, as if it's just been amputated.
苦しいか？だが大丈夫。あんたならすぐに落ち着くさ。きっかけはあっけなかったが、気づいたのならこれで。
The shadow holds his hand out. The feeling of my left arm shoots from my brain.
僕も今まで
I trusted him. I thought of him as a comrade. I mean, I don't know.
お前も私を裏切ったんだ。
You too? Another one? Another betrayal? What do you mean by that? Also, I don't know if you should trust Avenger. I don't know if you should have trusted them in the first place, but alright. The moment I let loose those words, I lose all rational thought. Just being there, unable to bear even my own existence, I ran out, my feet taking me somewhere on their own. As if just running away, my torn memories, the left arm spilling invisible blood, they have taken all rational thought away from me. Rin again. I can't remember. I certainly heard it, yet I still can't recall the conversation I had with that girl. Dead, she said. Someone had died, and the 5th Holy Grail War was over. Died? Who? I fled back then, too. Not even hearing that the Holy Grail War ended was enough to disturb me. So how did such a trifle ended up destroying me so thoroughly? I run. I have nowhere to go, yet I'm running towards one very certain place. My left arm feels like it's being torn off. The sense of pain invades my mind, causing endless chaos and confusion. I, who left my hometown, an antique that had no place in the association. I was driven further and further into a corner as I tried to find my worth and could not. After leaving my hometown far behind, I then realized just how much I loved it, yet I could not go back. And nothing definite, my own self was still vague. I built up an imposing exterior, nothing more. And on that day, for the first time, I saw a strength I could rely on. Not needing anyone, I selfishly admired that, thinking how much easier my life would be if I could be the same. I cringe in pain. I have morphine in my bag. This will be the first time I ever wanted a painkiller, but I can't inject it in my left arm, so I'd rather have it right in my spine. That way, it would have hit my brain right away. I could forget everything. Is that how it works? I don't know. Forget it. Forget it. Forget all about it. I don't want to hear about who died. I came to this town as a master. I couldn't care less about that man. But why was I the one chosen? Bazett Fraga McRemitz is the sealing designation enforcer. Anyway you slice it, the Holy Grail warrior in the faraway eastern land is definitely outside of her jurisdiction. There has to be a reason. There has to be another reason why I'm here. That reason made me so happy. I was so happy to be able to meet him again after all these years. I'm a mess who died. I'm a mess who died. I'm a mess who died. How wonderful, I can hear a silver-colored song. Organ. Going to the church. I'm finally here. The place I never entered up until now. The place I wanted to visit for a long, long time. What I've heard is a small yet elegant chapel. He abstained from luxury and lived a life of self-imposed stringency. I'm sure the building will be very much like him. Gloomy decorations, attention in the air, these are all aspects of him. The vestiges of the man I trusted, making me nostalgic just by thinking about it. Yorokobe shoujo. Why didn't I come sooner? This is where I'll find him. In the 5th Holy Grail War, the priest will always welcome those who visit this church and... Oh, well, everything's destroyed. Why is that? Weird. This isn't what I heard. Nothing but ruins and an unfamiliar girl waiting for me in this place. The pain is at its climax. It's as if my left arm is falling off.
神父の代役です。琴峰綺麗はここにはいない。もうこの世のどこにも存在しない。目を覚ましなさい、バゼット。あなたが望むものは初めからなかった。琴峰綺麗がただの一度もあなたを愛したことがなかったように。
Okay, is that what happened? Did Bazett fall for the priest? Did she have a crush on good old Kotomene Kirei, who, like, is totally evil, is a totally evil psychopath who, like, can never love anyone? So, it's probably that's probably a bad person to have a crush on. I don't know. I was chosen because of the recommendation he gave me.
何か個人的な交友でもあったのかな、バゼット君。
Okay, that's just some random, like, magus from the Mages Association, I guess. Not even the vulgar sarcasm of the association fazed me. I was happy to be chosen by the man that never chose anyone. Oh no. But we never continued from where we left off last time. Mixing business and personal affairs would only disappoint him. Having recognized my abilities, he recommended me as a master. Therefore, when I met him, it would be as the victor. I intended to see him only after winning the Holy Grail War. Everything was going smoothly. I made a contract with the ideal servant and set up my base in a Western-style mansion which had been used by Magus before. Soon all 7 masters would be present. As I was preparing for the upcoming battle, he came to visit me in that room and... Okay, I can guess what happens. I mean, it's pretty obvious now, but you know, Kirei does what Kirei does. That's probably what happened. He killed me. Okay, it's right there. Yeah, and I believe Bazett was mentioned in the original Fate Stay Night. Actually, I can't remember what route, but I remember like in one of the bad endings. Actually, it was mentioned that one of the original masters was dead, you know, and we learned that Kirei was the actual master of Lancer and everything. And so Bazett was mentioned there, so Kirei killed a master to gain control of Lancer. So that's what happened. Yorokobe. Man, Kirei, he's just so... I don't know, I like Kirei, but he's just so irredeemable, basically. He's just... not an ounce of good in him. So, I remembered, those were my last moments. The fate of one miserable master that was called to the Holy Grail War, yet never had the chance to participate in it.
この茶番はさ、聖杯 敗戦争を続けたいあんたが引退した連中を引き戻して。
Oh yeah, and why she have... Oh yeah, I'm thinking like, why did she have her left arm gone? Because probably that's where the command seals are, right? Yeah, and probably Kirei literally cut off her arm to take the command seals. I wouldn't put it past Kirei to do that. It's exactly as Avenger says. Kotomine attacked me from behind, and I was on the verge of death. My left arm holding the command seal has been torn off, and I was left alone in that mansion. My wound will bring death if I moved even slightly. It was also a fatal wound that eventually killed me even if I didn't. Barely alive, I made a wish from the bottom of the consciousness that was running out together with my blood. Not for revenge. With death overtaking me, I had no room for anger at being betrayed. Nor was it despair. My dimming mind felt no sadness at the betrayal. At that moment, I had but one thought remaining in my heart. I don't want to die. I don't want to die in a place like this. I don't want to die in such a pitiful way. I can't bear dying alone like this. Time had stopped. More than halfway towards death, I kept on screaming until the remains of my life were all used up. And then... Okay. A mysterious and unfamiliar something. Okay, that's Avenger making that contract, I guess. Happened to hear me. It was most likely what used to be the Holy Grail. The formless void inside the Holy Grail, smashed by the winner of the whole 5th Holy Grail War. By all rights, once the Grail has been destroyed, it ought to return to the Throne of Heroes. But that thing lived inside the Holy Grail. Okay. Which is interesting, because that happened like a lot later, right? Because the whole like Kotomine like murdering Bazett happened a lot earlier, but well, I don't know. We don't know what this route, like we don't know what this timeline is. Like a lot of things are different, so maybe it happened around the same time. You know, the Holy Grail being smashed and Kirei killing Bazett probably around happened, you know, pretty close together, or maybe time doesn't matter, you know? Maybe Avenger heard that wish anyway. By ours, once I've been destroyed, I'll return to the Throne of Heroes, but that thing lived inside the Holy Grail. No, inside the wish-granting Grail, had finally taken the form of the hero everyone had wished it to be. It was a servant reborn inside the Holy Grail. The one called all the evil in the world, having become the demonic Grail that grants people's wishes, had answered my call. However much of an embodiment of the Holy Grail he may be, he was a servant. Without a master, he would disappear. Through an impossible miracle, an accident that would never happen again, he had finally become the hero that everyone wished him to be. And yet, he would disappear, having lasted not even one night. Our mutual interests happened to coincide in the fact that neither of us had a future. Well, of course, I was already about to meet my end. I was delirious. I had no time to contemplate that being's nature. I was just terrified that after my death, my body would rot, decay, and eventually become nothing. That's why only one thought remained burning in my mind as I lay on the verge of death. I don't want to die. I want to extend the contract. Thus, the thing that had lost its old shell known as the Holy Grail found a new home in me by forming a contract. I lost consciousness the very next moment. That is, I died. But what's left here is my corpse. A pitiful misconception repeating the same 4 days indefinitely, frolicking forever inside a walled garden. At my last wish, I want to be resurrected, I doubt he had been able to grant it even then. He said it himself. The dead cannot revive the dead. To give form to this privilege reserved only for the living. Which is interesting because that was kind of like foreshadowed in the beginning of the game, beginning of the visual novel. There was that, you know, that ghost story that was told by Issei, actually, about, you know, the zombie son unable to revive his like zombie mother, I guess. That's why the most he can do is deceive the soul. He preserves the soul separate from the body, and for as long as the contract is in force, he will play this convenient dream, with real life set as its stage. It's lavishly ornamented, a hollow like a cradle built in the depths of slumber. That's right. This never-ending Holy Grail war itself is what Bazett wished for, and that servant was my very own wish-granting Holy Grail. Okay, so that's what it is. It's a hollow dream, I guess, made by Bazett. You know, maybe my theory is maybe it's kind of like a reality marble, you know? Is that what it is? Sort of, maybe? That consumed the entire city and everyone else is inside it, you know? That's what I'm thinking. Well, I finally get to the church several minutes behind Bazett. Okay. It's Avenger, right? And also, our vision is all more and more turning into like weird darkness, I guess. I knew this fleet-footed lady ought to seek refuge here. For Bazett Fraga McRemitz, this church is the last bit of support she can rely on. It's also the one she should never set foot in.
オルガンが聞こえやがる。面倒なことになってなけりゃいいんだが。
Even though judging by her good mood earlier, I'd expect to meet with instant death if I face her right now. I'm not the kind of servant who would abandon his master when she's at her most desperate. Prepare myself for the possibility that my head's about to part ways with my body. I fumble in the darkness, though my hands find the door. Hey, what's up, girl? You learned about, you know, how this entire world is an illusion made by me, by yours truly, but hey, how about you don't kill me? Inside the abandoned building, there's a woman feebly hanging her head. On the altar, there's a silver flower in bloom.
よう、その様子じゃほとんど思い出したってところだな。
The woman doesn't answer. Looks like she calmed down, but I guess she's still mad at me.
ありゃ、まだご機嫌斜めですか。仕方ないな。特別サービスだ。本当は聞かれなきゃ答えねえんだが、ここは包み隠さず、正直に世界の仕組みを説明してや。
必要ありません。あなたが答えるべきことは2つだけだ。
Okay. She cuts me short. Man, I was gonna give that exposition to the reader, but I guess not. There's no emotion in the words she shot at me. The woman had become a machine. In that case, there's no need for me to stay human either.
私が望む限り、聖杯戦争は終わらない。
Yes.
聖杯戦争が続く限り、私は死なない。
Yes. You will achieve immortality. Technically. Oh, that's not voice. That's fine then. She passes me as she heads out of the church. I can't believe it. Right now, I'm genuinely shocked.
待て。ならいいってなんだ。ここまで来て振り出しに戻るのか。
1日目に戻るのはいつものことでしょ。今さら何を言うのです、あなたは。
Oh wow. The tables have been turned.
わからないな。からくりを知ったんだろ。ならもういいはずだ。この世界は死にかけだ。終わらないが続かない。そんなところにいたって何にもならないじゃないか。
それは外の世界も同じことです。私も、私を取り巻く世界も、それを許す世界そのものも、とっくに崩壊しだしている。再生はない。あとはただ、滅びをどれだけ緩やかに引き伸ばすかだけの話だ。
Okay, she's gone crazy. But I mean, I guess I understand, you know, if you had the choice of living in like a, you know, weird time loop world or basically dying, you'll probably choose to live, probably. She's terrified. You say she's terrified of the inevitable death.
私たちは未来のない世界に生きている。そんな現実に戻るなら、ここで永遠に繰り返していた方がいい。そうだ。もっと早く気がつけばよかった。裏切られたからって悲観することはない。元から私には何もなかった。あんな場所で生きるぐらいなら、4日間しか続かなくても、ここで生き続けた方がマシだ。
That's wrong. Being weak is fine, but stalling in here is a bit of a waste. What was it that you struggled to breathe up until now for?
こっちのがマシか。 それこそ何を今さら口にする。現実が厳しいなんてそんなことあんたは生まれた時から分かっていたんじゃないのか。
She's pessimistic because she's weak. However, it's swallowing up that weakness and dying that's the number one sign of being human. That's what the priest was saying.
話はここまでです。戦いを続けます。あなたは私のサーバントだ。私の方針に従っていればいい。
Bazett is leaving the church. This is completely beyond my expectations. I thought that once she regained her memory, she would reject this silliness once and for all.
こりゃもう一押し必要かな。
Interesting that Avenger also wants this to end, but why though? Because if this world ends and Bazett dies, he also goes away, technically, but then maybe he wants that for some reason? I don't know. For a good reason, or maybe a bad reason? Unfortunately, I can't really think of anything. Well, whatever. If the master intends to fight, the servant ought to just follow along. The one last push will be a job left for the hero of justice. Segi no Mikata.
あなたはまだ続けるのですか？
There's a woman standing at the altar. She's so sensitive she might just die if I get any closer. The distance between us is now the closest we can manage. It's not like we could ever talk or touch each other to begin with.
仕方ないだろう。契約者が続けるって言うんだ。使い魔が自分から契約破棄したら魔術師のルールが壊れる。
Well, I mean, you can use something called Rule Breaker. Rule Breaker! But I guess we don't have access to that.
わかりました。確かにあなたの立場ではそれが最善でしょう。
Her tone is cool and indifferent. Since neither of us cares much for the other's existence, our conversations are never any longer than they need to be. However, for whatever reason...
あなたに会いました。とても楽しそうだった。
But you met Shirou, though. Weird. Alright. She brings up something unnecessary.
ま、楽しい分にはいいだろうさ。
Okay. Because I'm thinking like, wait, so we're Shirou? Or, I don't know. Weird. Or maybe like a clone, or... Well, I gave a vague reply. Whether I should show joy and envy, react with surprise or with sorrow. Honestly, I have no idea.
外でマスターが待ってる。そろそろ出るぜ。
The atmosphere is getting awkward, so let's get this over with.
忠告してあげるわ。契約を切るか、このまま続けて終わってしまうか。どちらにせよ、彼女は救われないでしょう。なら、いっそこのまま。
I don't want to hear it. Her statement isn't even correct in the first place.
まさか、助けを求めるのなら救われないものはない。どんなものであれ、最後には救われるんだ。
呆れた。それをあなたが言うの？アンリマユ。
Yeah, that's a very like optimistic view from someone who like is like, I don't know, he's like, I don't know. I don't really understand, you know, Avenger anymore.
ま、俺の言う救いは人間の救いじゃないがね。
Or maybe, well, I don't know. He's like saying, no matter who you are, salvation will always come in the end. You know, it sounds like a very priestly thing to say, but a very saintly thing to say. But actually, maybe not. You know, maybe his idea of salvation may be something else. Ain't got no clue about bringing salvation while alive, unfortunately. Those that fell into despair can't be changed. So instead, you just need to switch that despair with something more meaningful. As one lies on their deathbed, being able to savor the illusion of a well-spent life in their final moments ought to bring happiness to any human.
ねえ、今でも本当にこの願いを終わらせたい？
当たり前だ。もう何億回繰り返したと思ってやがる。いい加減飽き飽きでお先真っ暗だよ。
嘘つき。
Okay. The woman goes up the stairs. In the end, I'm the only one left in the chapel. Okay, interesting. So, I don't know, Avenger, like how... Like, I'm thinking, like, how many loops is this, you know? He says like a million times. He might be exaggerating, but like maybe he's actually telling the truth. Maybe there's been like a million loops already and he remembers all of it, you know, and that's why he's also like, I don't know, like his personality is like, I don't know what the word is, dismissive? Not dismissive, like, you know, basically he's bored because, I mean, that's what he said. Because he's seen this so many times already. A string of ordinary days, I already know everything there could possibly be to know about. A world dimming ever so slightly with every new event. Yes, we are like, you know, going through all the events and, you know, eventually we'll run out, I guess, in a meta way. A world that I've never personally experienced, but where everything is known to me at the same time. There's still some gaps in it, but I'm sure even those are just worthless bits of daily life, yes. Just like maybe some trivia with some, you know, trivia oni. Well, anyway.
嘘つきって俺を誰だと思ってやがる。アベンジャーが正直者のわけねえだろうが。
Being criticized for lying doesn't put me in a good mood, that's for sure. Just what does that woman think I am anyway? Indifferent, that's the word, yeah. I'm trying to think, like, you know, Avengers like so indifferent about everything, right? He's just along for the ride, you know, that might be part of his personality, but also might be because, you know, this is the world he created and everything, so he's kind of bored of it because he knows everything that would happen already. Everything that have happened, everything that has happened rather, everything that is happening, that ever will happen. So it's kind of like eventually you just run out of things to do. That's the idea, I guess. That's the, like, you know, the Groundhog Day idea, where eventually you do everything and then you get bored of the loop, you know? But anyway.